It's your boy Angelo Savage. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's go.
Right now, doctors are marveling at what's being called the world's oldest baby. The Ohio boy was born from an embryo frozen in 1994,
Good
and
Lord.
he was conceived in a lab by a couple using IVF, which was relatively new at the time. His adoptive parents found the embryo through a Christian adoption embryo agency. And so for more on all this, I want to bring in ABC News medical contributor, Dr. Alok Patel. And Dr. Patel, happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. But first, this is a record, and it's really kind of remarkable. But what's the reaction in the medical community to this news?
You know, Alex, I know people will see these headlines and think this is sci-fi, this is something of the future, but some of the physicians and scientists I've talked to are like, hey, no, this is what we can do with reproductive science and technology. The fertility doctors I've talked to, the reproductive endocrinologists, see this headline and say, yes, spread awareness that we can keep these embryos frozen for a very long period of time. But if you look at the broader conversation among the healthcare community, this really sits in that Venn diagram of human biology and development, scientific advancement, and ethics and individuality in kind of making these decisions for families. So yes, call it a scientific marvel, appreciate science, and realize that there's a lot of humanity in this story.
Well, and that's a really good point, Doc. But I'm also kind of curious, you know, implanting older embryos, is it more of a risk?
From everything that the data suggests and what I've talked to about the experts here, the only risk or the only higher risk situation really comes at the age of the woman when the embryo was frozen. But if the embryo successfully can be thawed and passes screening, the risk is exactly the same. It could be an embryo that's been frozen for a few months or one that's been frozen for 30 years, because remember, this baby was born at term and is fully healthy. So that actual freezing process is what matters, and that process has actually advanced over time. After the year 2000, the new method of cryopreservation is even more advanced with a higher success rate when it comes to thawing.
Well, and so with that in mind, are you expecting to see older embryos, become more of a trend with IVF?
Of course.
You know, in general, we are seeing higher rates of ART, that's assisted reproductive technology, and IVF is one of them. So there is an unknown question about.
Y'all want to know why real quick? I want to pause that real fast. You want to know why he said there's an increase? Because there's a lot of single people out here recently. Did you know that the stat just stated that there's more kids being born after 40 years old than there's more kids being born before 18? Now, for years, that was impossible because kids were having babies back to back to back. I guess the kids are coming to their senses, but then they lose their senses in the middle of their prime years, and they having babies at 40 and up. Do you understand? Let me just do some math for you. You have a baby at 40. By the time that baby's 18, you're 60 years old. Okay? There's no playing ball. You're old. You hear me? And I'm not saying all 60-year-olds. Most 60-year-olds, they moving slow. Slow motion, I guarantee you. I guarantee you a lot of 60-year-olds, they're not moving quick. Not enough to keep up with an 18-year-old. Just saying. Not saying they can not be a good parent. I'm just stating the facts here. It's possible. And if you want to do it, do it. But don't wait too late. That's all I'm saying. Don't wait too late to carry, man. If you need to, then you got to. You know what I'm saying? Say you're not financially there, you're not mentally there. Okay, great. But don't wait too late trying to do this, because this is a very dangerous process. And I'm going to continue this video, and I got another comment at the end of that. Some real science for you guys.
Is going to happen with these potential millions of frozen embryos across the world. But Alex, we see that CDC birth rates are going down. The request for IVF is actually going up. About 2 to 3% of U.S. births are born from ART, and that's higher in some states.
Crazy.
And it's unfortunately lower in other states as well, where people may want to seek this technology, but may not be able to because of access, healthcare policy in that state, or insurance coverage.
Well, and lastly, I mean, obviously,
It is an
something like this
expensive process.
grabs headlines and it's fun to talk about, but are there ethical questions here?
That's exactly right. So there are ethical questions, and these are questions that we should be asking and making sure that people are on the same page with, because it affects state-by-state policy. One of the biggest questions is, what is the future of frozen embryos that may not be put up for adoption? What is the ethical consideration when it comes to research, and who actually owns, I may say, that when it comes to embryos? So we have to have these conversations while we are talking about advancements in science and celebrating new births.
All good points. Dr. Alok Patel, thank you so much.
Here's some new information we've learned about. Former North
This thing be going to the next. I don't want it to go to the next. Stay where I tell you to stay, man. Cause I got it on a playlist, so it'll keep looping. Anyway, it's your boy Angelo Savage. Don't forget to subscribe. But yeah, this situation, I want to add that you see what they're not saying, because yes, you can blame basically, there are certain requirements from the state that don't even fund it, because this is, see, one thing they're not telling you is they're saying the pros and that it's possible and that this is a 30-year embryo, but they're not telling you how much that embryo costs. You think it's cheap to preserve something like that for that long? It sure is not. It costs about $15,000 to do that. Yes, IBS ain't free as well. So it costs $15K to even preserve that shit and hold it for a later date. IVS is a whole nother process. They got to do that to get it in you, but you got to pay for that too. You might be paying like $25,000 to have a baby just for them to embed it in you. And then the success rate. I want doctors to know this, and you can Google this too. The success rate of incubation is not too successful. They got to implant a bunch of them in you. There's not a high success rate in this, and some people, they save the embryos for later in life, and then it does not become viable later in life due to the fact that it just died off. So this being frozen is great. I like that this is successful, and this is the oldest one yet, and this does advertise the method, which in hands tell women that they can wait longer. But I think that you should do it the natural way. It's the cheaper way. You know what I'm saying? If you got money to hold it, then hold it. But then, like, you got to think about it. Your success rate still might not be there. So you can just do what God naturally gave you the ability to do naturally, but at a divine time, or wait, or get your eggs out when you're young, or your embryo. Get your embryo while you're young, freeze it, and then use it for later. You know what I'm saying? That's all. But at the end of the day, you got to understand, like, if you're not ready to have a kid, don't have a kid. And I guess it's better to be late, what they say in church. It's better to be late than never. But at the end of the day, man, like, don't just have a baby and bring a child on this earth by itself. Make sure it has 2-parent household minimum, or that kid might end up in jail. Statistically, let's just say that. What y'all think about this situation? I'm not against it. I actually love science and tech mix. Science and tech together, bro, is the future for sure. Like, science itself is the future. It's always been there, and we need to learn more, like the elements, periodic tables, all that stuff. I love that type of information. I might look cool, bro, but I'm a nerd inside. Anyway, also, I do love tech. So if you mix science with tech, bro, we're looking at something real, real nice and cool. Like, you put some AI into this, bro, AI can probably figure out a way to preserve it even faster, even longer, and more successful. I think that's the future right now, man. And at the end of the day, like, we might have to pull this method out, and hopefully we might have to start cloning motherfuckers for real. Gee, I'm telling you. Because why? Why do we have to start cloning people? Because the birth rate is so low, bro. We can't have a low birth rate. I was just telling somebody, I'm like, at the nursing homes and stuff, it's like the old people right now, those are like the boomers for real. They're about to die off. And then you got the generation after that, which is our parents, kind of ish, like 50 years old ish, 60 years old. They eventually gonna be there. And then 40-year-old, and then it's our generation. The 28-year-olds is gonna be in 60s, and then that's it, because we ain't having kids. Because after that, nursing homes gonna be dry. They're gonna have to do something. They're gonna have to have a boom somewhere. You know what I'm saying? In order to repopulate. And that's a thing I'm 100% for. So if they gotta incentivize people to have babies, if I don't know, I feel like they might do something more satanic or malicious. I think they might sabotage the condom companies, I guarantee. Or they might sabotage birth control so people can have babies. I know, because it ain't no lack of people still having sex now. Let's not say that. It's your boy Joe Savage. Tell me what y'all think about this. It's a 30-year-old embryo. I like that. That's, anything is possible, man. I feel like sometimes too, and this is like, we got to think about my logical brain and then my kind of my reasonable brain. Sometimes I be thinking we be playing God for real. Y'all don't think that? We definitely playing God for real. We given a choice when and not to give birth. We damn near, once we start cloning shit 100%, like without a female or male present, like we say you birthing a baby not in the sack of a mother, bro. We definitely playing God. And it's getting real it's kind of weird, man. Eventually, that type of information, I don't know what we would do with that. I don't really want to get that far into like society, because I don't even know what we would do with that type of information if we knew how to, incubate the male and the female sperm without both present. Like, of course, you need the male sperm, but like without the woman incubating the baby, that means she doesn't need no longer have to carry the baby. Say if it's made in the lab type shit, they are already taking the baby, changing the genetic code, and implanting an embryo. It's stuff like that. So shit is getting real complex, and when you got to think about it, you just got to put your mindset on there. Like, are you morally okay with this? Because there is some sense of actions that you're doing that does portray as playing God. Let's just stay there. All right. It's your boy Angelo Savage. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section. This is a very interesting topic. I wonder if you're an older woman and you agree with this, or you're a younger woman and you're like, I'm just going to do it natural. It's cheap. It's cheaper if you do it natural. So tell me what y'all think in the comment section. It's your boy Angelo Savage. Don't forget to comment in the description, and don't forget to subscribe. It's your boy. Let's go. Peace.